Hello, this is Ed Keck, and today I'm here with another tutorial. I got a lot of comments from my previous video asking how I used UnityBinder, where I got it, what is it, where do I get it, all those kinds of questions. So I decided that this video I'll go over UnityBinder, how you install it, how do you use it, what it's good for, things like that of nature. And to demonstrate it really quickly, I've made a toy problem. So we have a plane here with several cubes at varying heights. And what's going to happen is when all the cubes hit the plane, all the cubes are going to turn green. And then we have a text here that will say like, you win, or something of that nature. It's not really a game, but it's just to demonstrate how you would use UnityBinder in your own projects. As of this video today, UnityBinder is not in the asset store, but if I get enough requests, I'll put it in the asset store. But for right now, it's not in there. It's on my GitHub page. So if you go to github.com/edkeck/UnityBinder, you'll get to this page. It has some stuff on how to install it, how to use it, as long as some documentation. Bind resource and bind on click we won't be going over in this video. We'll mostly be going over bind component, as well as bind components in children, which was just added yesterday. So to install UnityBinder in your project, simply go to the script and you'll see a semi-big, semi-small file depending on what you like to call big and small. Simply click on raw, copy the entirety of the script into Unity. So we'll go ahead and make a script in here called UnityBinder. We'll open this in Writer, and then simply delete everything and copy in or paste in the UnityBinder script. Now you shouldn't get any errors when you paste it in because it's just using system and the Unity engine. If you do get an error, leave it in the comments below. It might be a problem with your IDE or maybe your C# version as well. But for my projects, I have never really gotten an error unless it was a problem with my Unity project itself. Okay, so now the first thing we do is we'll create a cube script, and the cube script will be responsible for holding the renderer object, as well as having a variable that says like if it's touching the ground or not. So let's go ahead and make a cube script. So now the first step to make a script bindable is you change mono behavior to bindable mono behavior. The bindable mono behavior is simply just a script that overrides awake and calls UnityBinder.eject. You can do this manually. You can also override awake if you need to, but I won't go into the weeds of that too much. For the purpose of this video, simply doing bindable mono behavior is enough. Now to get the renderer, one might think you do private renderer, and then in the start you do renderer equals get component, blah blah blah, but you know, we're not here for that. We're not here for that at all. In this toy problem, we don't want to do any get components. We don't want to drag any variables in the editor. We're going to do it all within UnityBinder. So, how do you get this renderer, you ask? Simply put at the top of the variable bind component. And there you go. Now we have an instance of the renderer. What the bind component attribute does is it looks in the game object that the script is using, and if it finds a renderer, it sets the variable that has the bind component attribute to that script. So this would be the equivalent of saying renderer equals get component renderer, but it automates that for you. Now let's go ahead and make the variable for is grounded. It's going to be a C# property that simply does a raycast downwards to see if the ray like touches the plane. So we'll do it at the current position. We'll go downwards, and we need the variable. So we're going to do public float min distance equals 0.8f, and then we'll add 0.1f to that. Oh, my bad, transform.position. I don't know why I put game object. I think it just auto-completed. Or maybe I'm just typing too much today. So, we now have the cube script done. So let's go ahead and make our plane script. Now the plane script is going to be a little bit more complicated because now we have all these child objects of the plane that are cubes. But we want to check the isGrounded variable of each cube. So we're obviously gonna need a list of the cubes. How do we populate this list? One answer might be is that you list the game object children of the plane, do a get component call on each game object we find to check or to get the cube script, and then once we have the cube script we add it to the list. Not only is that like very complicated to look at because it involves a for loop and then we have to do get components and add it to the list and all that jazz, it's also not necessary. Another person might say, oh, we can just make the list public and then drag each cube to the plane script. But that can also be hard to maintain because now you have a giant list in the editor and you have to like make sure the list is always updated. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to change mono behavior to bindable mono behavior. And we're going to do bind components and children. And that's it. We now have a list of all of the cubes that are a child of this plane. And to show you that I'm not insane, we'll do for each var cube in cubes. Up. There we go. We'll do gameObject.name. Yeah. So to show you that I'm not insane, we're going to print out all of the cubes' names, and we should get all the cubes listed here. Let's go ahead and run that. And we do. We get cube 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we have 0 through 9 here. So we did it. We have our list of cubes without really doing much. We just had to add the bind components and children above our list, and then we did it. It's like magic. So now let's go ahead and just check the state of all the cubes. For each var cube in cubes, if the cube is not grounded, then simply return because we don't want to continue. But if we get to this point, then they're all grounded. And we can set the color for each. Okay, so in our cube script, we made this private. We can make it public, and now we can access it in the plain script. So now what this will do is it will grab the renderer, get the material, and change the color to green. Let's go ahead and make a variable for this, so that way, we can make it customizable. We'll call it ground color. And let's go ahead and change this. We don't need to start anymore. Let's optimize our imports. And let's see what happens. Ta-da! We did it. And we did it without using any get components or anything like that. Now let's just change this text because new text is kind of odd. Let's have it say you win. Now this is kind of also tricky because how do we get the text component that's inside this text object inside of the plain script, because the plain script already has the state checking for all the cubes. We don't want to make another script for that. Now, we're not allowed to drag this into here, and we're not allowed to do get components. One option is we could set the tag for this text to something, and then we could search for that game object by the tag, do a get component, and then change the text. But that's dumb. We're not going to do that. Instead, you're probably seeing the pattern here. We're going to make a bind component call. But you're probably saying, Edkek, you're insane. We can't do that. We can't simply do a bind component call for text inside the plain script because it's in a different game object. And that's why I tell you you're wrong. We can. You see, bind component has parameters. One of these parameters is from object. From object allows you to bind two components of different game objects using the path. So in the editor path, we have canvas/text. So if we set from object to canvas/text, it will search for the text component inside of this game object, canvas/text. And then we can say text.text equals you win. And then if, one of the cubes is still falling, we'll simply set it to nothing. Let's see if it works. Hey, we did it. So just to recap everything that we did, we made a cube script that binds to the renderer of the cube, makes it public, and then we made an isGrounded property that checks whether the cube is on the ground through a small physics raycast. We then made a plain script that binds to all of the cubes that are a child of the plane, and then we bind to the text on the screen, or more specifically in the path canvas/text. And then each update we check the list of child cubes if any of them are not grounded, and if any of them are not grounded, we change the text to blank and then we simply return. If we don't return by this point, we loop through all the cubes again and we change their renderer color to whatever ground color is, in this case green. We then set the text to you win, and that results in this. Now I hope this video shows you a very basic high-level understanding of how UnityBinder works and how you could probably integrate it into your project. And again, I welcome contributions, so if you want to go on my GitHub and you think of a cool idea for UnityBinder, feel free to fork it, make a pull request, or if you really like UnityBinder, feel free to start it. I hope this tutorial was helpful. This has been Edkek again. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. I'll try to make videos more often, so hit the bell icon to get more notifications. And leave a comment below if you have questions or an idea or a comment about something. I usually reply to most of all the comments. So, this is Edkek signing off.